Edward fans, I have an announcement. Tom is possessed by a demon. That's right. For years he's been trying to hide this dark secret, hoping that none of us would notice. But today, we leave no stone unturned. We're going to get to the bottom of Tom and the demon that lives inside of him. The first hint at Tom's inner demon comes at the end of Trickle's threat. Kate, the little witch girl from Crash Zoo, finds that, unlike the others, she cannot possess Tom and is kicked out of the house. When asked about this, Tom says,
"You can't possess something twice."
The episode just sort of ends here, so we never really get to find out who or what possessed Tom in the first place. To find this out, we need to go beyond the Edward. Kate, the little witch girl from Crash Zoo, finds that, unlike the others, she cannot possess Tom and is kicked out of the house. When asked about this, Tom says,
"You can't possess something twice."
The episode just sort of ends here, so we never really get to find out who or what possessed Tom in the first place. To find this out, we need to go beyond the Edward canon and go to Tumblr. After his departure from Edward production, Thomas Ridgewell made a post regarding the character. He revealed that, initially, he wanted his character to be possessed by a demon, a rage demon that would break out whenever Tom got too angry, sort of like the Hulk. This demon is actually why he designed the character with black eyes in the first place, which makes that whole video I made completely pointless, but I digress. Of course, this was all non-canonical. Tom was no longer part of the show when he made this post, and Ed never really agreed to this reasoning in the first place. So, for further evidence, we need to look at Power Ed. Remember this thing? This monster that seems to come out of absolutely nowhere? We know that this has something to do with Tom. It's implied that he turned into this monster after being punched by Eduardo, but it's never actually explained why in the episode. I just assumed it had something to do with the radiation emitting from Eduardo, but Ed seems completely unaffected by it. This monster is just unexplained and it comes out of nowhere and is never mentioned again. It just makes no sense until you consider the blog post. According to Tom, the demon inside of him comes out whenever he gets too mad. I don't know about you, but this...
Ha! Who's the loser now?
would be enough to make anyone angry. That monster we see was not a monster at all, but was in fact Tom's inner rage demon out of control and breaking free from Tom's body. This demon monster also makes an appearance in the Crash Zoom episode Orcs and Dorks. Crash Zoom is a web show written and produced by Tom, and there have been hints within both shows suggesting that it is indeed set in the same universe, with Kate appearing in Trick or Threat as the most immediately obvious crossover. In this particular episode, Kate summons the very same monster using an evil spell to create havoc at a convention, and it is clear from the satanic imagery that it is not just some generic monster but is definitely a demon. And if there is any doubt about whether or not this is actually Tom, we see at the end of the episode the demon's arm turn into that of a human with Tom's distinctive blue hoodie. Finally, let's look at the end, and one of the most interesting Easter eggs in the show. In Todd's secret lab, we see some blueprints on the wall showing Tom's demon monster. But this doesn't make any sense. Does this mean that Todd was behind that whole thing in Power Ed? Or does it mean that Tom wasn't actually possessed to begin with? Maybe, but there is another possibility. What if Todd is trying to replicate the rage demon? Remember, Todd spent many years with Tom as a flatmate, so it's completely possible that he has seen this thing in action before and wants to use it for his own evil purposes. This makes even more sense when you watch through the episode. Dear viewer, I ask you this. What is Todd doing throughout the entirety of the End Part 1?
Classic stupid Tom. Classic stupid Tom. Why don't you sleep on this sofa?
Trying to anger Tom. Think about it. If Todd is already there retrieving his giant robot, he may as well try to obtain the power of this indestructible monster. If he could get Tom to turn into a demon, he could experiment with it, clone it like in Spares, or mutate it for his own evil ways. And what better way to do that than to make Tom incredibly, incredibly angry? So there you have it. Tom is actually sharing his body with a rage demon. Tell me if you disagree or agree with me in the comment section. I'd be very interested to hear your take. As always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one.